Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. So we were discussing the Adhyasa Bhashya, that is Bhagavad-pada Shankaracharya's, Adi Shankaracharya's introduction to his commentary on the Brahma Sutras. And in the beginning, he has told how just like darkness and light, they can never have the properties of each other. Darkness cannot share the properties of light and vice versa. But this is what we see Loka Vyavahara in daily practice, that consciousness is superimposed on unconsciousness, non-consciousness. Non-consciousness is superimposed on consciousness. And itara adhyasa. That means mutual superimposition takes place where both the thing which is superimposed, that is consciousness is superimposed on unconsciousness or non-consciousness, both that and also the properties of consciousness, they are also superimposed. That means that which is the object which is superimposed, it is superimposed on the subject is superimposed on the object. Not only that, their properties also are superimposed. Shankaracharya gives the example of how we interact with one another. Yushmad Asmad. So you and I, this is our interaction. And in this interaction, we constantly refer to the other person and we impose or superimpose some of our properties on the other person. Similarly, the other person, some of the properties of the other person we superimpose on ourselves. And it is just like consciousness, which is the subject, superimposes itself on non-consciousness, which is the object. That is what Shankaracharya is telling. And he says that how does it come into effect? It is happening because of aviveka, because of not having the discernment or the differentiation between the subject and the object. The subject and the object, we don't differentiate, we don't discern what is the subject and the object, and that is why this is happening. And also Satya Anrite Mithuni Kritya, by creating a joint or a knot of the truth and the untruth. The truth and the untruth. So what is Satya? What is Mithuna? What is Anrita? That means what is Satya means what is truth, and what is Anrita means what is untruth. And we do a Mithuna. That means we do a combination of that. So we confuse the truth with the untruth. We confuse the untruth with the truth. That is why. And how does it manifest itself, or how do we experience this? Okay, all this is all right, but how do we experience this? So he says, Aham idam. This is me, or this is I. Mama idam. This is mine. That is how we experience it. And this is something we all can relate with. We experience this is I. Even if we take a photograph where it is probably our kindergarten photograph, immediately we become very cheerful and we say, see this with a, in the olden days, kindergarten, they used to tie a handkerchief here so that you can wipe your nose. Very convenient it was. Nowadays they don't do it, is out of fashion. So you see this is me. Or Mama idam, this house is mine. You see this cup of tea I have made. The extent of our sense of possession of both the ego and also the possession of something I. So I means bhoktrutva and kartrutva. Towards the end of this Adhyasa Bhashya, Shankaracharya will say that. So I have made this cup of tea. I have bottled water. Such a great accomplishment I have done. All this, whatever it is, the moment I is added to that, it becomes an altogether different thing altogether. If the same thing is done by somebody else, we say, oh, what is the big deal? Simply jumping like that. But if 1/10 of what the other person has done, we do, see, I did this. Why? Aham idam, mama idam. That is the problem. And this problem is an universal problem. Naisargika, it's a natural problem, loka vyavahara, and it is how people behave. And that is why it is a problem. Because we don't know that it is a problem. That's why it is more a problem. Now, the question is, what is this adhyasa? How do you define this adhyasa? In the first paragraph itself, he says, Yushmad pratyaya gocharasya vishayasya asmad pratyaya gochare vishayani chidatmake yushmad pratyaya gocharasya vishayasya tad dharmanam cha adhyasa hai. So, on the asmad pratyaya gochare vishayani chidatmake, on the subject which is conscious, we do the adhyasa or superimposition of the object which is non-conscious and also the properties of the object. That is called adhyasa. And it is a mutual superimposition. So not only the object is superimposed on the subject is also superimposed on the object. Tad viparyayena vishayinah tad dharmanam cha vishaye adhyasah mithya iti bhavitum yuktam. So he says, you see, just like darkness and light cannot go together, in no circumstance can that happen. Similarly, object can never become the subject or subject can never become the object, and that is illogical. That's not a logical possibility. So it stands to reason that it is not logical. It is not going to happen. And in the very next paragraph he says, but that is what happens. See, that's the problem. If I die, will my friend die? No. Will my relative die? No. If I die, will my son die? No. But if my son dies, will I die? No. Biologically, that's not how it works. But when my son dies, I die. And when I die, my son also might say, oh, my father has gone away, and he dies. So the point is that though it is improbable, it is not logical. That is what is happening. This is what is called attachment. This is what it's called superimposition. So that adhyasa, which he has told, he has used this word adhyasa. Now he proceeds to define that word. And he does define adhyasa several times in this Adhyasa Bhashya. So here he now defines. It is being said, or somebody is asking the question. Ko ayam adhyaso nama iti. Kaha ayam adhyaso nama iti. What is that which is called nama, called adhyasa iti, as adhyasa? Kaha, who or what is that which is called adhyasa? Uchyate, the answer is being given. Smriti rupaha para atra purva drishtha avabhasah. So what is adhyasa? Smriti rupaha. It is rupaha similar to smriti. Smriti means memory, recollection. You remember something. So adhyasa is smriti rupaha. It is in the form of memory. So memory need not be correct. That is also one implied meaning here. Memory need not be correct. You might see, we remember only those things which we see from our perspective. In any incident, in any quarrel, in any fight, in any event in our lives, we remember only that which we have considered to be important. So it's just our take on the events. It's just our version of the story. So that's why memory cannot be relied completely. So smriti rupa hai. What is adhyasa? It is like memory. Why it is like memory? Because using memory you are superimposing. In a dark room, there is a rope, and where did the snake come from? Snake was not there, but you have used your memory, and when you become afraid, you have brought that snake where you have seen in some dark place you saw the snake which was like that coiled, etc. So now here a coiled rope is kept, so you immediately bring the memory of that snake and impose that memory on this rope. So smriti rupa hai. It is of the nature of memory. Para atra. Paratra means it is on a different location. It's on a different location. Purva drishta avabhasa. Purva drishta means that which has been not just seen but what has been experienced earlier. Purva, earlier. Drishta. Avabhasa means again seeing or cognizing, knowing something which you have already seen or experienced. So you see jalebi. Now if you see jalebi, and if somehow somebody can use in synthetic material and create a likeness of jalebi, exactly it looks like jalebi. Unless you touch it or unless you put it in your mouth, you think it is jalebi. So now what is happening? You have seen jalebi and somehow you liked it more because you have sugar or diabetes. You cannot eat jalebi. So the liking for any sweet is directly proportional to the blood sugar level. The more the blood sugar level, the more you will start liking sweet. That's how it works. So because your blood sugar level is more, you like jalebi more. And so that one jalebi you had somehow stolen and you have eaten without showing to your children, and somehow you now enjoy that jalebi. Aha, somehow I could have the taste. You are now seeing a synthetic jalebi. But that synthetic jalebi, the experience of eating jalebi is there in your mind, memory. Seeing the synthetic jalebi, you think, this is also jalebi, but it is not. It is a synthetic jalebi. It's a synthetic version of jalebi, but you think that it is jalebi because purva drishta avabhasa hai. Because of the avabhasa, cognition or knowledge of purva drishta hai, what has been already seen. But always it does not happen. People, they see marriage, one marriage fails, the next marriage they don't see this. You see, it is not happening logically. It is very illogical, adhyasa. So going by that logic, they should next marriage also. Oh no, I'm not going for marriage like that. They don't say. They somehow purva drishta avabhasa. It happens in a different manner in terms of in the case of relationships, but mostly it is how this operates. Or in the case of relationships also, we can say in one relationship, even though there was so much quarrel and finally there was separation, they remember only what some good things happened and they say, oh, this also may be good. So purva drishta avabhasa. What you experienced earlier, you impose it here. Okay. Para atra, in a different location. In a different location means not just on space, but location in time also. So earlier you have experienced something and now you feel that yes. So you see an actor, you have seen a film of that actor, and then you think, oh, this actor is a good actor. The other film is a big flop and you have to suffer all that 1.5 hours or 2.5 hours, whatever. So that is how our whole life story is this. Based on our purva smriti, our old memories, we decide on what is available to us now. So purva drishta avabhasa hai, that which has been drishta means experienced in this context, experienced, that you are getting the knowledge of that. Paratra, in a different location, space or time. So maybe you have at some other place you have seen an apple, you go to some other place, you see something like an apple, you think it is an apple. It might not be an apple also. So that is what. So this is one definition of adhyasa. What is adhyasa? What is superimposition? It is just like memory, and it is the knowledge or the cognition. It is a false knowledge basically, but it is a cognition or knowledge of what has been experienced earlier. But now this knowledge is happening of the same experience in a different location in space or time. So it's a different location. So if you see, all our experiences are like that. All our experiences are like that. Once you drink Coke, then all you need to see is the logo of Coke. In that, even if something else, that is why the whole concept of branding is dependent on this. See, the moment you see Coca-Cola, you are like, Coca-Cola would be good. How did you come to this conclusion? Because Coca-Cola spent so much, crores of rupees in bringing good actors in front of you, and they have systematically brainwashed you to believe that it's a genuine brand. I have nothing against Coca-Cola, but I'm just giving an example. So like that. So this is how branding works. Branding means developing impressions on your mind, impressing upon your mind that this is great. How? Constantly giving you some idea that this is great. So your memories will be totally sabotaged, and then you will think that this is great. And that is how our samskaras also work. The touch, the sense of touch. For so many lifetimes we have used the sense of touch, and somehow we have got a feeling that this is something great. And so that feeling has been impressed on our minds so thoroughly that every time the touch sensation, it entraps us. It puts us in a trap. Why? Because constantly this thing is going on. That is the whole concept of branding. So basically branding is nothing but a big effort to create adhyasa, superimposition. See, why should you use a toothpaste which has salt or garam masala or pan masala like that? Then they will say this toothpaste has biryani, this toothpaste has upma, this has idli. Forget your breakfast, have the toothpaste. Why should you do that? Because somehow people have come and given you this idea that this is what you have to use. And then suddenly the certification will come. The dental association says this, that, this. Nobody's bothered about any association. But you think, oh, yes, wonderful, so genuine. Like you go to some doctors and they will display all their certificates on the wall. If that doctor needs to display all the certificates, I don't think that doctor is worth the salt. But anyway, they do that. Why? Because they are creating an impression on your mind that yes, I am credible. I am not an ordinary person. And so next time you see the doctor or next time you see that certificate, how many of us really know what it takes to become an FRCS? None of us. Very few people actually know. But FRCS means, oh, FRCS, oh, such a great doctor. When you go into the details, you may say, okay, not much big deal actually, like that. So FRCS, all these letters which people put after the names, they are all superimpositions. So once you see an FRCS, you get an idea. Some people tell, oh, very great doctor, FRCS doctor, very great surgeon. Then you say, FRCS means great. So Purva Drishta, you have already experienced that FRCS means something great. Paratra, in a different place, that same FRCS is written Adhyasa. See, Swami Ranganathanji, he used to say earlier, elementary course, eligible for this thing and for public service. Elementary course and eligible for public service, something like that. There was a qualification. It's called ECPS. So they used to make fun of it, it seems. Education completed, progress stopped. ECPS, like that. So people may have different kinds of explanation for different acronyms. MBBS, Mia Bibi Bache Samet. So that is a different acronym. But the moment we see MBBS, we think of Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery. Need not be. That is how Paratra Purva Drishta Avabhasa hai. What has been seen earlier, Purva Drishta or experienced earlier, Avabhasa hai, a cognition or knowledge of that previous experience, Paratra, in a different location. So we see, so that is why when you see a person who is like smiling, wearing maybe white dress or some Gerwa dress and like smiling, and then yes, like that they will give. So suddenly you get this idea, oh, great Mahatma. May not be, maybe just an actor. We don't know, but that adhyasa works, you see. We are given this impression that this is how it is. Some people, they make something called idli. Some people make it, when you touch it, it will become very soft and it will break like that. Other people, when they make, your fingers may break. But when you see the idli, you feel that, oh, the same idli. Unless you put it in your mouth, when some teeth will break, you know, no. This is quite durable idli. So that is how that Purva Drishta Avabhasa hai. Purva Drishta, what has been experienced earlier, is being cognized now here, is being known now here. Paratra, in a different place. So that is why it is Adhyasa, because anything which is just experience based knowledge, just like that you cannot compare. Two similar things may be essentially dissimilar. Science tells us that even our common sense understanding, which as they say is very uncommon, tells us that two wide things may not be similar, but our brain processes it like that. Adhyasa, that is the problem of superimposition. So what you have experienced earlier, our brain does not want to go into complications. So we try to somehow compare notes. Oh, that is the thing, same thing. Put it in one pigeonhole, put it in one category. So you see, that fellow, that neighbor, he's like that only. He's like that only. Indians like this usage of English, which is not proper usage. We are like that only. We put one only for, security purposes. We don't feel we are like that. If I say in English, that is proper English, but we somehow don't get satisfaction. We put one only afterwards. Then it is very because in Indian languages it is like मैं वैसा ही हूँ. He is, so we replace he with only. So we see a person and we profile that person, and any other person we see, we have like 5 profiles in our brain. People will be like this 5. So 6th person whom I see, I want to put that person into these 5 categories. So my work is less. If I see means say 100 people or 200 people and so many categories, means my brain has to process so much. Its RAM has to be increased, memory power has to be increased, etc. Processor speed has to be increased. So what I do, I have 4 type of people. Oh, this is good, this is bad, this is okay, this is chalega. Like that I keep from 4 categories and then I process. So always what I am trying to do, I am trying to compare my present experience with my past experience. So Purva Drishta Paratra Avabhasa. And that is why it is like memory, because memory is like that. Smriti Rupa, simple, that is Adhyasa. So what is the moral of the story? Don't compare your present experience with past experiences. Every experience will be new. Also, if you meet a person, that person probably did not behave with you properly. In the past, maybe you had a sour relationship. Does not mean that the person cannot improve or cannot become better. But we don't allow the chance to that person. We will say, no, you are like that. You are like that only. We will say, and we will be very happy. So this is how it works. And so Shankaracharya, see, it's a big stroke of genius where he just says, it's what is Adhyasa? Smriti Rupaha Paratra Purva Drishta Avabhasa. What has been experienced earlier is also seen or known or cognized. It may be, it is, Adhyasa is false knowledge. It is not proper knowledge. Okay, I normally would not answer questions in between, but somebody is asking, are you trying to say Adhyasa explains hard problem of consciousness? Now, because this person is an academic who is asking the question, so there is this academic question coming up. What is hard problem of consciousness? Many might know, many might not know, but I will answer her question. No, Adhyasa does not completely explain the hard problem of consciousness. To a great extent it does. I've just answered that question. And so here the point is Purva Drishta Avabhasa. What is prior cognition, prior experience is compared with or cognize in the present experience. And it is Smriti Rupa. It is in the nature of memory. So because I have seen water and I know that water, when light falls on water, there is a kind of a glitter. And so because I know how it feels to look at water from a distance, and I know how water shines when sunlight falls on it. So when I am traveling on a highway in the afternoon, when there is sun, and when I see the tar road, I immediately superimpose that glitter which water will create in a pond or a river, etc., or in sea. I immediately superimpose that glitter of water on the tar road where no water is there. Why? Because that Purva Drishta, earlier experience of that shining water, I have put where. So I went to Badrinath and then I saw that water is there, like that water is flowing. So then I saw, oh, such nice water is flowing. Then I went to put my feet in that, and it was so cold. Immediately I removed my feet from the water and I said, okay, okay. Took some water and put on my head, and Tirtha, we have to put like that. And then afterwards I saw that water is so white, foaming water is going, such pure water. That has made an impression on my mind. And afterwards, when I'm coming to Delhi, there is no water. But when I see the tar road, I immediately feel, oh, is that water? There is a lot of heat there, but I see that, oh, so that is what Purva Drishta, previous experience of Badrinath river, and here Paratra, in a different place, Avabhasa, cognizance. So this is what is happening everywhere. In the previous class, we were discussing the example of how there's a mountain rat and how carpet is put on that mountain rat, and so carpet is moving, and so when carpet is moving, I know that movement is there. So the idea of movement which I have seen elsewhere, I have, because the carpet is moving like that, I have superimposed the idea of movement on the carpet which is not moving. Also, I have seen the carpet itself. And so the idea of carpet I am superimposing on what is underneath it, that is the mountain rat, which is not carpet. It does not have any properties of the carpet. So what I am seeing in a different location, I am imposing it on another location. That is called superimposition. So there also some people talk about this in some other manner. Now here suddenly also, I would say almost without warning, Shankaracharya goes into a bit philosophical aspect of the problem. He is now trying to explain how different schools of thought see this problem of superimposition. Then he says, Tam, that, Kechit, some people, Anyatra, on some other location, Anya Dharma, the superimposition of the properties of something else. Anya means something else. Dharma means properties. Adhyasah iti vadanti. Superimposition iti vadanti. They say. That is, some people here, some people, they call this adhyasa of object on subject or subject on object to be the superimposition or adhyasa of some property of something on the property of something else. Just like the property of water glittering is superimposed on tar road. So the water's property is superimposed on tar road. So some people call this that. They call this as adhyasa. Who are these some people? They are called Vijnanavadis. Vijnanavadis. So Vijnanavadis, they say that this cognition in the previous definition of adhyasa, Shankaracharya said, Purva Drishta Avabhasah, the cognition of previous experience. So this cognition is called Khyati. Actually, Khyati means cognition. So Vijnanavadin, they say, so who are Vijnanavadins? Vijnanavadins are a group of Buddhists. It's a group of people in the Buddhist tradition. So they say, now when you say Khyati, it means cognition. Cognition means knowledge. Khyati Vada, when you say, it means theory of the cognition of false knowledge. Khyati Vada. Actually, Khyati Vada literally taken should mean Vada or theory of knowledge. But here, or cognition, but here it means theory of the cognition or knowledge of false things, false knowledge, theory of false cognition or false knowledge. So what happens here? Here, Buddhist, the group of Buddhists who are called Vijnanavadins, they say that you see the cognition, and that cognition is external. The cognition of consciousness which is mistaken, false cognition, that is external. And so that is why here it is said that the properties of one thing are superimposed on something else. Just like we saw the example of water. Sometimes when they give you tea, actually the properties of water are superimposed in some people's teas also. Tea is just like water. So it is not just superimposed, it is really that water only they are giving you, just adding some thing. But here we are not talking about that superimposition, we are talking about real superimposition, where you are confusing the qualities of one thing and you are applying the qualities of that thing on another. This is what Vijnanavadins call to be Adhyasa. According to Vijnanavadins, Adhyasa is always external and it is mistaking of the properties of A with the properties of B. So suppose there is something called A, you are mistaking the properties of A with the properties of B, and this is always external, and that is what Buddhist Vijnanavadins say, and it is called Khyati. Khyati, in that it is called Atma Khyati. So Atma Khyati means what? Erroneous perception or erroneous cognition, false cognition or false knowledge of oneself. Atma Khyati. And that is what he is telling. Shankaracharya is saying when he says Tam Kechid Anyatra Anya Dharma Adhyasah iti vadanti. For all of you who have suddenly felt that what has happened now, so Vijnanavadins are coming, so many other people are coming on the stage, please don't get worried, because immediately people will go away. Just without warning, Shankaracharya is giving us this philosophy. Immediately these people will go. Again he will come to explain Adhyasa or superimposition in a very, very simple language. Then Kechittu, some other people, Yatra Yad Adhyasa hai, Tad Viveka Agraha Nibandanaha Brahma iti. There are some other people, that means some other people who belong to some other school of thought. What are they saying? They are saying Yatra Yad Adhyasa hai. Where? Yatra means where. Yad Adhyasa hai. Where there is a superimposition of something. Tad Viveka Agraha Nibandana. That is why that superimposition happens, because there is Viveka Agraha, means there you don't understand the Viveka. Viveka means difference. There is a Viveka Agraha Nibandana. There is, it is based on non-understanding of the difference. So when you see water's glitter, the shine or the sparkle of water, you are seeing that water on the tar road. How are you seeing that water on tar road? How is tar connected with water? They are different, right? So how are you seeing this tar on tar, how are you seeing this water? But you do see. So because you are unable to differentiate, that's why you see. Because you are unable to see the difference, that is why you see. If you are able to see the difference, then you will not see. So what is adhyasa according to some other people? It is because you are unable to see the difference. So from a distance, you see a pillar and you think that there's some person is standing. Some people are pillars in your life. That's a different thing. But here you see a pillar and you mistake it to be a person. And why? Because you are unable to differentiate a pillar from a person. You are unable to differentiate. So that is why Viveka Agraha Nibandhana means there the condition of not understanding Viveka happens. Means not understanding the difference happens. That is Brahma. That is called Brahma or delusion, illusion. So some people say first is Atma Khyati, that is Vijnanavadin. There are some other people, again, there are some other people, they say that what you see is basically a wrong understanding of what you see. It is an illusion. And so these people are called Akhyati Vada. Akhyati means in Mimamsa. So the first day we saw that there are 6 philosophies which believe or follow the Vedas. 6 philosophies: Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Purva Mimamsa and Vedanta. So this Mimamsa propounded by Jaimini, there are main 2 divisions. One is called Prabhakara Mimamsa. Another one is different. Another division is there. Prabhakara Mimamsa and Kumarila Bhatta. That one difference is there. So that is a different sect. It's called Bhatta Naya or Bhatta Mimamsa. Now Prabhakara Mimamsa people, they say Asat Khyati. Asat Khyati means which does not exist. This false knowledge or Khyati here means not just cognition but false cognition. This false cognition or false knowledge takes place because that thing does not exist at all. You are seeing, just like you take a disc, paint the disc with 7 colors of the rainbow and rotate the disc, you will see white. In the rainbow there is no white color, but you will see white. Why? It's an illusion. It's an optical illusion. We have seen so many optical illusions thanks to WhatsApp University. Actually, there is no university called WhatsApp University, but some people think that it is a university. Whole day they are sitting and reading WhatsApp. So that's why popularly it is called WhatsApp University. So in WhatsApp University also you might have seen there is a photo or a sketch of a woman. From one angle, if you see, she is a young woman, and from a different angle, she is an old woman. So as long as you see the old woman, you cannot see the young woman, and when you see young woman, you cannot see the old woman. It's an optical illusion. So like that, we have seen so many optical illusions. There are concentric circles. If you look at them, it appears as though the circles are moving. Nothing is moving there. Like that, there are so many varieties of optical illusion. The Prabhakara school or Prabhakara school of Mimamsa, they say that this false knowledge, which you are calling Adhyasa, let us call it Brahma or illusion. This is arising nothing because of confusion. This is nothing but proper illusion. That is what this is. It's just illusion. So what illusion? Here you are not seeing things as they have to be seen, because the thing with which you are confusing and the thing which is being confused both have different properties and you don't know the difference. So that is why you get confused. So this is another. So first one is Vijnanavadin of Buddhism, and that is Akhyati. Now what we are seeing is not Asat Khyati, Akhyati, Prabhakara Mimamsa. And then comes the third philosophy, Anye tu yatra yad adhyasah tasyaiva viparita dharmatva kalpanam achakshate. So there is a slight difference here. Just now Prabhakara Mimamsa people, they said that wherever adhyasa takes place, there what is happening? Two things are involved. That on which superimposition is taking place and of which superimposition is taking place. In our example of rope and snake, rope on rope, snake is being superimposed. So there is rope, there is snake. On which superimposition is happening, that is rope, and of which superimposition is happening, that is snake. Now, that according to Prabhakara Mimamsa is happening because of illusion, because you don't know the difference between snake and rope to begin with. That is why this illusion is happening. Anyetu, there are some other people who say, Yatra yad adhyasah, where there is supervision of whatever entity, tasyaiva viparita dharmatva kalpanam. This superimposition is happening not because of mistaking or not knowing the difference between two things, but it is happening because you are imagining properties opposite to the property of what is being superimposed. So rope cannot move. You are imagining movement in rope which cannot move. So viparita dharma. Dharma means property. Viparita means opposite. Kalpana means imagining. So you are imagining. Some people, when they come, they wear a spectacle and all that. You look at them, they look like scholars till they open their mouth, of course. So that is why you are imagining the attributes of a scholar on a person who does not know what scholarship is. They'll ask what ship. Oh, Vivekananda went in many ships, like that one scholarship. So like that, they have no idea, clueless, but you are imagining like that. Rope, when did rope move? Apart from the Indian rope trick, magic trick, Westerners were very fond of this. So rope never moved. Rope cannot move, but you are viparita dharma. It is completely opposite to the property of rope. Rope is an inert object, so it cannot move, and movement is completely an opposite attribute of rope, and you are imposing this opposite attribute, kalpanam, you are imagining it, achakshate. So that is being said. That is being said that you some other people say, so this adhyasa is basically the superimposition of a opposite attribute on that thing on which superimposition is made. So who says this? This is said by Nyaya, Naiyayikas, Nyaya people. So it is called Anyata Khyati. It is called Anyata Khyati. Anyatha Khyati means Anyatha means as it is not. Anyatha, in the other manner. Anyatha Khyati. So false knowledge in a different manner. So that is why it is false knowledge. You see a person or you see an object and impose or attribute to it qualities other than what it has. So crow, mother crow feels that the crow is the most beautiful creature in this world, which probably it is not. It is probably the most curious creature, but not the beautiful creature. So, but the crow, mother crow thinks like that. And many human mothers also think that their children are the most smartest and the beautiful and all that, which might not be the case, but you are superimposing. Why? You are taking properties completely contrary to that particular person and imposing that property on that person. So this is called, Naiyayikas call this adhyasa, and they call this Anyatha Khyati. So Anyata Khyati means that which is not you are imposing there. Then finally, Sarvatha Apitu. In any case, Sarvatha Apitu, in all cases or in any case, Anyasya Anya Dharma Avabhasatam na Vyabhicharati. Shankaracharya says, you see, all these people are there. So Shankaracharya, I think he became a little hasty to clarify a situation. So first he said, Smriti Rupaha Purvadrishta Paratra Purvadrishta Avabhasaha. Very clear definition he gave. Then he immediately rushed to tell us that, you see, there are other definitions also people give. So I'm just informing you, some fellows will come and tell I am a Naiyayika and this is the definition. or some Prabhakara Mimamsa or some Vijnanavadin. So these are the definitions I am telling you, and they are there who have these definitions. So be careful. But whatever they say, sarvatha api, in all the cases, anyasya anya dharma avabhasatam tu na vyabhicharati. So you see, in all these cases, one thing is not contradictory. In all these definitions of adhyasa, anyasya anya dharma avabhasatam. On something else, the properties of something else are cognized or known. So on rope, the property of snake is seen or cognized. This is not vyabhicharati. So in every definition, all these definitions, all these different types of kyatis, this thing does not fail. Means this thing is common. What is the thing? The properties of one A is superimposed on B, or the properties of B are superimposed on A. All the definition, this is the same case. So he again comes to his own definition, that is paratra purva drishta avabhasaha smriti rupaha. So it's like memory. You experience the cognition of something which you have experienced elsewhere earlier, and that you experience elsewhere now in the present. So when we talk about rope and snake also, let us forget about the rope for a moment. Take just the snake. More than 96% of the species available on this planet are non-poisonous snakes. But when we say a snake, immediately something happens to us. We have to somehow kill that snake, because somehow somewhere somebody was bit and it was poisonous and probably that person died. This memory is so deeply imprinted on our brains that seeing that snake we think it is poisonous, which it is not. Most of them are not, but we kill the snake. So why? Because of purva drishta smriti rupa paratra avabhasa. The idea of seeing or having the knowledge of a poisonous snake is imprinted or imposed on your mind so much that you superimpose it on all snakes, whether they are, irrespective of whether they are poisonous or non-poisonous. So this is what here it is told. So Shankaracharya says, essentially, what is adhyasa? Adhyasa means mistaking the properties of one thing with the properties of the other. Mistaking the properties of the object with the properties of the subject, or mistaking the properties of the subject with the properties of the object. This is adhyasa. So then he does not stop there. He goes further and he says, tathacha loke anubhavah. Also tathacha, that is why loke anubhavah, it is the experience of people in this world. What is the experience? Shuktika hi rajatavat avabhasate. Shuktika, that is seashell, shell. Shuktika hi, indeed, Shuktika or the shell, indeed avabhasate, appears rajatavat, like silver. Like our glitter of water on the tar road. When we see a shell, I don't know now how many people mistake like that. I have not come across anyone going to Marina Beach or even Calicut, Kozhikode Beach and saying, oh, I got silver like that. I have not actually come across a person. If any of you have come across, please tell me. But maybe in those days, people were so much after silver, and now also people might be so much after more than silver, they are after gold, or also maybe after Bitcoin. But when they see silver, they will be like, oh, or they see shell, they will be like, oh, I have seen silver. So there was some confusion because maybe science was not developed. I don't know the reason. But Shuktika, the shell, is confused with silver. Indeed, it is confused with silver. Or today, if we can say, The star is indeed confused with water. Avabhasate. How, and that we have experienced, he says, Tathacha loke anubhava. It is the experience of people. It is the experience of people. How Eka Chandraha sa dvitiyavat iti. Just like a single moon appears as though there is a double moon. So single moon sometimes appears as double. So how does single moon appear as double? There can be various circumstances when this happens. Mainly that happens when there is some problem with the eye. So eye, when you have problem, or also people who have very high blood sugar, sometimes it affects their eyes and they immediately start seeing double. Many years ago, I was walking with a person and suddenly he's saying, from our front one cow was coming. He's saying, hey, how 4 cows are coming, completely blocking the road. I said, no, 4 cows are not coming, only 1 cow I can see. And it was afternoon. So he's saying, no, 4 cows are coming. I looked at him and I was surprised. How 4 cows? Then he's seeing everything. Then he looked here and there. Then he said, everything I'm seeing double. Oh, that is because his blood sugar went high so much that everything is seeing double. So such thing happens. Such a thing happens. And also if you have some other defect in your eyes, you will see double vision. There is some ghost vision you will see. Every time that is also a defect in the eye. So you see moon, there will be a small, much hazier moon there. So how did one Ekaha Chandra, how did it become 2 Dvitiyavat? So like that, there has been no change in moon. What is changed is your eyesight. Because of some reason, your eyesight has some problem. So you see one moon to be 2 moons. Similarly, Shuktika hi rajatavat avabhasate. See, all this we know that one property is mistaken with the properties of other, etc. But what to do? It is the experience that we have to understand. That is what I am experiencing. Like Duryodhana said, Janami dharmam nachame nivrittim, janami adharmam janami dharmam nachame pravrittim, janami adharmam nachame nivrittim. I know what is not correct or what is not dharmic or what is not righteous, but I am unable to give it up. Nachame nivrittim. I am unable to practice nivritti there. Or I also know what is correct, what is righteous, what is dharmic, but I am unable to do that. Nachame pravrittim. So I know that. It is not that I don't know that, but I am not unable to do. So even though this is all we are now saying that yes, some other cognition is superimposed on some other place, etc. The properties of the object are superimposed on the subject, or the properties of the subject are superimposed on the object. All this we understand. We are not fools. What is this? Brahma Sutra means something you will tell and we will listen. We all have studied science. This we know, Swamiji. What are you talking about? The problem is not there. The problem is this is indeed loke anubhava hai. Though we understand, but we experience this. And when we experience this understanding does not seem to help us. So that is what problem. That is the problem. Though we experience it, we know full well that it is wrong experience, but at that time, this understanding does not help us. And again, Shankaracharya is just echoing the condition of most of us. For example, in relationships, we know that this also may fail. Or when a quarrel is starting, before that, just like before migraine starts, you get a premonition that today I will get migraine. Similarly, before quarrel starts, there are all signs of quarrel. But like self-destructive something, we want to engage in the quarrel, and then finally we engage in the quarrel, and then there is fight, and then there is all shanti, pieces into pieces. Everything happens, but still we engage in that. That is the problem. That is the whole conundrum. Here the problem is that. Why does that happen? We don't know. So Shankaracharya is building his different logic and arguments to tell us what we already know or we experience. But towards the end, he will tell us why it actually happens. What is the reason and how can we get out of it? Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Are there any questions? Somebody was asking page number. So, because I don't know which book he is asking. So, Adhyasa Bhashya, I hope we got.
Swamiji, I was the person who asked that question, and I have the book which was referred to in the WhatsApp group, Brahma Sutra Bhashya.
Gambhiranandaji.
Yes.
So Gambhiranandaji, just in the beginning itself, he says that does not have the Sanskrit text. It does just have the English translation. The Sanskrit text is not there in that.
Oh, okay. Because I was trying to look out for the Sanskrit text which you are referring to.
It does not have the Sanskrit text. It has the English translation. For Sanskrit text, there is another book by Chaukhamba. It is by one Hanuman Shastri ji, Swami Hanuman Shastri. Translation. It is in Hindi actually. So that has got the Sanskrit text. Also, Sanskrit text is available online. If you go to Sringeri Mutt's website, you will get the Sanskrit text.
Okay, thank you, Swamiji.
Thank you. Is there any question? Are there any questions?
Swamiji, I have a question.
Yes.
My name is Lingaraj. I am from Visakhapatnam.
Yes.
Swamiji, I have heard a story about an elephant, a blind man and the elephant. The blind man thinking that elephant, catching the elephant leg and thinking of something else. Yes. So in that case also there is an adhyasa. So my question is how will they be able to get out of that adhyasa when they are thinking of something else regarding elephant?
So it's called in Sanskrit, it's called Andha Gaja Nyaya, which Sri Ramakrishna also uses, and many places it is used. How they will be able to get out of it? When you see the elephant completely. When you see the complete form of elephant, you will be able to get out. But as Sri Ramakrishna says, one cannot completely understand Brahman, but one can completely satisfy one's doubts, or one can have a complete understanding of oneself. When that happens, you will not have this false understanding.
Yeah, but
so
if they are blind
yourself,
if they are blind and they have no other mechanism to see or perceive that, then it is almost impossible for them to understand or get out of that adhyasa, right? So
that is why in Samskrita there is a adage or a saying, Udaharana Ekadeshiya. That means examples are to be taken, only one aspect of those examples have to be taken. So that example you should not take it too literally. Here, andha means blind, means lack of knowledge, ignorance. So here in our case, what is our blindness? It is ignorance. So that ignorance can definitely be removed. Also, if by some method a person's blindness can be removed, then that person can look at the elephant and understand for what it really is. That is the aim of that example.
Thank you.
Is there any other question? No questions. there are so many people. So now let us see whether
Dhananjay here.
Yeah.
So my question is that about the people falsely actually kind of using the knowledge, like a person is assuming a rope as a snake. Okay, and typically that is based upon our memories and the earlier knowledge, okay, perception.
Yes.
But that perception is also necessary for daily day-to-day life. So that even if you get a snake as a real snake, okay, you should know what is we should be cautious or not. Isn't it that is also necessity of the life?
Yeah. That is why Shankaracharya does not say that all smriti is adhyasa. He says smriti rupa. He says it is like memory. He does not say adhyasa is memory. He does not equate memory with adhyasa. So all memory is not adhyasa. Only when you hold on to memory, and because of that memory you have a false understanding of the present. See, if you don't see water on tar road, then there is no problem. Because you see water on tar road, that is why the problem is. Understood? If you don't see silver on a seashell, on a shell, there is no problem. But because you see silver on shell, so that means you have seen silver elsewhere. And the property of shining you have seen. Here on the seashell also you'll see the property of shining. And so you're mistaking one with the other. So memory, when it is wrongly attributed to something else, there is the problem. Memory itself is not the problem.
Okay, so just to take the same example, so I see silver on the shell, and based upon my memory, I realize, yes, this is not a real silver. This is like a perception. Is that then real knowledge? Because
no, you don't realize that based on your memory. You go and you take up the shell in your hand, and then you realize that it is not silver.
Okay.
When you mistake it for silver, you are using your memory, and because of that you are mistaking. See, memory itself, if you were very clear and you say, oh, I have seen shell, this is only shell, it is not silver. That is also happening through memory only. But then there is no adhyasa. Adhyasa. So rope you have seen so many times. You see rope in a dark room also, and you say, no, this is rope, it's not snake. So there also you are using the memory. And there is no adhyasa. Memory leads to adhyasa only when there is a wrong cognition. Smriti rupa paratra, in a different location, means in a different context, different kind. On rope you are superimposing the knowledge of snake. Only then adhyasa happens. Memory itself will not be adhyasa.
Okay, thank you.
So any other question anyone has? So shall we, Smriti, shall we close it?
Yes, Swamiji.
Okay. So we will meet day after tomorrow again with questions of superimposition. Okay. Okay. So have a good night. Namaste.
Namaste.